Happy Tuesday, Striver. I hope that this message finds you in a buoyant mood, energized and feeling blessed about this life. I hope that you're inspired and ready to do a little bit of personal development work today. I'm Brendan Richard, founder of GrowthDay, and I like to spend a little bit of time on these daily fires introducing some new frameworks to you on different areas of our personal and professional lives to help increase that self-awareness, have you ask some questions about how you're living and leading your life, and hopefully to motivate you and inspire you to be your best and realize how much you really can grow if that's your intention. Today's personal development topic is on respect. One of my very favorite topics in personal development, because I feel like in these days, in the online social media world, we've lost that. I think we've lost that with our neighbors. I think we've lost that with people on the other side of the aisle. I think that in general, we have lost a lot of the good-fashioned, old-fashioned values of respecting other people. Now, I don't mean to say that as a blanket statement across everything, but I'm sure you and I both can agree that the tone and tenor of the political conversations, of the social media world, of this divisiveness that we are experiencing in this season of human history is quite severe. And I don't pretend to have the solution to that. This isn't a political show. But it is to say that I think we can all improve the world when we remember that each person wants to be respected. And that when we can respect life, and we can respect other people's opinions, and when we can respect that each person can have a place, a voice, and a life that is good, then somehow we become a little more compassionate and empathetic. We become a little more close, and yeah, I believe we can change the world. If you know anything about me, you know that one of my great heroes in life was my dad. We lost Dad to acute myeloid leukemia in 2009. And in that last year of his life, in fact, the last month of his life, I interviewed him about his life's journey. And I asked him a lot of questions, and one of the questions was I was asking him what he wanted all of us kids to remember. And in that dialogue, he shared things like he wanted us to always remember to be honest, to be ourselves, to do our best, to take care of our families, to treat people with respect, to be a good citizen, and to follow our dreams. But that point of treating people with respect was something that, as my dad said that, entering the last weeks of his life, I knew that that represented a lot of what he believed and how he lived his life. My dad really respected other people, and he demanded a lot of respect. Dad did 20 years in the U.S. Marine Corps, so you can imagine that understanding respect was a big and important part of my childhood, because let me tell you what, a person who's in the Marines demands a lot of respect, and they give a lot of respect, and I think that could be a really wonderful thing. I think about all the great mentors of my life. I always felt like they gave me even more respect and validation, and I would say opportunity, than I even felt like I deserved. Didn't have a lot of those people, but I bet if you had them, you remember who they are. Maybe today, you might even go into your digital journal here in the GrowthDay app and capture a few ideas and remembrances of the people in your past who showed you a lot of respect and gave you some opportunities. Might not be a lot of people, but boy, I can tell you, if you can remember them, you know they made a difference. To me, it's hard to gauge what does respect really mean in the modern world. What does respect mean to each of us in our own personal lives? And so I thought I'd just share a few ideas and maybe get your head going on this, and maybe you can journal on it in your own life, where you feel respected, where you don't, how you wish other people would treat you and others. For me, respect always begins first and foremost with the willingness to listen patiently to others. I know that might sound a little trite, but I think it's true. That a demonstration of respect is willing to listen openly, patiently, to others as they express their viewpoints, as they explain who they are, as they, follow their own path, their own voice, their own purpose, and try to share that with you. Even if you don't agree, you can listen patiently and openly. Even if you come in with your own biases and your own preferences, you can still hold space so that the other person can feel heard. Think about all conflicts you had in your life. A lot of them were because you didn't feel heard. And so you escalated. And that's happening at large now. Gosh, if we could only listen better to one another. A second thing that I think of is the idea that often respect means that we honor and validate other people's perspectives and even their requests. That if you ask me to help you clean up the counters at your house and I say no, well, that can feel disrespectful. But at the same time, I'm not talking about all of us have to comply with every single whim or request of other people. I'm just saying that we honor that request, that we validate where it's coming from in terms of saying we hear you and being honest with our reply. It means that when someone asks something that is fair, that we hear them out, and if it makes sense, we do it. If we don't do it, we explain thoughtfully and patiently and compassionately why we don't want to do it. But I feel like these days we're also resistant to helping other people, to honoring other people's boundaries and requests, that when you honor their requests or their boundaries or what they need, they feel heard, seen, validated, respected. I think a short and simple way to demonstrating respect to other people is to praise them in front of others, to send them a kind note, but also maybe copy somebody along the way, to celebrate them in front of the team, to praise them one-on-one, focus more on the positives than the negatives, help them realize they're stronger than they think. Remember, just kind of remind them that who they are is important, and that you see them working hard, that you see them striving and struggling, that you praise their efforts, that you praise their good intentions, that you praise them as a human being. I feel like praise has fallen out of the vernacular. We used to apply it to relationships, and now you only hear it in the non-secular world and faith and spirituality, talking about praising up. But I think another important part about it at the human level is to respect one another by praising one another. I think that a big part of respect is learning to have difficult conversations with other people and working through the problems with presence and grace and compassion and honesty. Working through the problems with others, not vilifying them, not canceling them, not telling them they're awful or evil, but rather actually working through problems together, actually asking each other questions and having difficult conversations and staying with it, not anticipating that the problem should be solved in 5 sentences or 1 tweet, but rather working through problems. I think of the most, I would say, impressive people in my life, people I deeply, deeply respect. A big part of that is I've seen how they endure life and they work through. And when they witness other people struggling, they work through with them as leaders, as friends, as caregivers, as parents. And so I ask you, what does respect mean to you today? Do you feel like you're receiving it? If not, could you have that difficult conversation with someone to ask for a little more? If so, who else could you demonstrate a little bit of goodness to today or this week by listening patiently and honoring and validating and praising and being honest and working through problems together with openness and care? Respect. Oh, what a time-honored value. Oh, what we desperately need in society at large right now. What I love about personal development is that it always reminds us that, you know what, when we improve ourselves, especially on topics like today, we actually do have a chance to shift and to change the world. When you change your behavior patterns, you change the world. When you change how you treat other people, you change the world. That each of us, one by one, can adjust our attitude, adjust our behavior, support other people, and cheer on other people and demonstrate respect to others. I think we can get rid of a lot of the vitriol, the anger, and the division that we're all facing right now because we're unconscious and lacking intention in this one little area of respect. If you enjoyed today's Daily Fire, hop into the journal, capture some of your notes, hit save just to do the action. By learning to journal a little bit more, even just on little things, even if you go type in 5 sentences, you've won this day. So I encourage you to do that right now because, as you know, every day, my friend, is a great day to grow.